Hey everyone! The year 2024 was a year full of contests for our community. So I think in this video it will be fun to take a look at all the winning entries of these contests. Now it's going to be a long video, so I hope you're comfortable, get yourself a cup of tea, and let's start with the first contest of 2024. Alright, the first contest that ended in 2024 was the mini movie scene contest. And here you can see the entry from Rhythm. And Rhythm recreated a scene from Lord of the Rings. So this is the Battle of Helm's Deep. You can see an explosion happening here in the wall. You can see this big castle here from the movie. It's partly on fire. And something which you can also see over here is the army of orcs. Now I love how Rhythm used all these different vehicles to represent this army approaching the castle. And you can also see these signs here, which Rhythm used to represent arrows that are flying around here. Really creatively done. And then finally here you see Gandalf's army arrive to defeat the army that was encroaching on the castle. Really creatively done by Rhythm. What was also really funny about this contest was that actually two players decided to recreate this scene, but in a different way. And they got first and second place. That was a nice coincidence. Alright, the second contest that ended in 2024 was the Invent Your Own Ride contest, the second edition we did of this contest, and this is the entry from 94, Supreme Posse, Ball Pit Warrior, Monster Bucks. Now together they created this wonderful cityscape here, looks like a futuristic cityscape. Now the palette that they chose, I think it looks incredible with this purple background. Definitely looks different from the normal black, and it gives this map a really cool vibe. Now these buildings over here, I think they look insane. I love the shapes, also the different colors that were used. There's some really cool scenes in the park. Also some more gritty areas like this black area here in the corner. And there's also a naughty area here in the other corner. Well, yeah, I thought this was an insane contest entry. It's also incredible coaster going through the plot. You can see this coaster here, which has vehicles both above and under the track. So yeah, that's why it's in the Invent Your Own Ride contest. Alright, the next contest was the mini underwater contest. For this contest, all the players had to create something which was either partly or fully underwater. And Max Arceus, well, he doesn't understand the meaning of the word mini contest, so he always creates these elaborate entries. It is in the allotted tile size, but Max Arceus likes using all the vertical space that he has in the map. That's why he created this entry. So here you can follow around this submarine. Let me just speed up the game. And the submarine will travel all throughout these different underwater sections. And for each of these sections, there's some signs that explain a bit more about the zone which it is in. For example, here we have a zone which is from 200 to 2000 meters. And you get a little bit more explanation. So yeah, it's not only a beautiful entry, but it's also educational. You see these volcanic vents, also a little bit of explanation about them. Now it goes very deep, all the way up here where it's very dark. And here you can also see an underground volcanic section. So yeah, not only very beautiful entry, also educational. Really nicely done. Right from the underwater coaster contest, we now go to the dive coaster contest. This was the third edition we did of the dive coaster contest. Mostly because I forgot we already did a second one. But doesn't matter, we got some beautiful entries this round. This is the entry from Inox and The Brew. They created this wonderful dive coaster together in this classical Roman theme. These buildings over here, they just look insane. All the decoration looks great. And they even did some trickery to give this coaster a water splash, which these trains definitely normally don't do. Okay, I believe it's synchronized with some kind of boat vehicle, which then makes the splash as it passes by here. Or maybe the boat vehicle is even one of the vehicles of the train. Not really sure. But it definitely is nice seeing how they did that trickery here. So yeah, beautiful entry from Inox and The Brew. Alright, this year was also the first year we did the park creation contest. So in this contest, players get 6 months, so half a year, to create a park in a certain theme. And for this first edition, players had to create a park themed to one or more world wonders. Now, guests enter through this portal in the middle of Stonehenge, so that's already the first world wonder, I think. And from there, guests can take one of these fantasy, dreamlike paths to one of the 3 main areas of the park. These paths just look insane. I just love the vibe of this park, which looks like it's in space. Now here's an African-themed section. This inverted coaster looks beautiful, also with all these custom supports and this big castle here. Here we have a bit more of a European-looking section, also some beautiful buildings floating around here. And then here's this giant castle, which I think is the center point, really, of this entry. And then here's a really dreamlike Japanese snowy area, which also looks beautiful with all these pagodas. Yeah, this was just an insane entry from Beautiful Monday. Now, if I'm going over these entries too fast, you can find all these entries on my Discord server. There's a link in the video description, and Discord is completely free, so there you can explore all these entries at your own pace. Alright, we also did several multiplayer rounds this year. This was multiplayer round 67, and this round was also won by Beautiful Monday. I will quickly use the cutaway view here. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's try it again. There we go. Oh yeah, for this round, players all had to create something themed to the Frozen Fields of Imagination Mega Park. And Beautiful Monday created this wonderful looking castle here in the middle. I love all the different building blocks that were used here to create this really nice looking castle. And there's also a coaster traveling through it. Some beautiful support work here. Of course, not realistic support, but they look really wonderful. It's a really nice decoration. And then later, Beautiful Monday also decided to put the dragon here on top of the castle, which also looks great. And he made it look with these particles like the dragon is breathing out some really cold air, I think. But yeah, just a wonderful entry. The scenery looks wonderful, and the coaster also looks really great. Alright, the next entry was for the RMC Conversion Contest. For this contest, all the players had to take a wooden coaster from one of the original scenarios, or one of these pre-built woodies that you can, or pre-designed woodies that you can place down in any park. And then they had to convert it to a hybrid coaster. And 94 Supreme Posse and Sorted, they chose Double Trouble, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the wooden coaster from Grumbly Woods. Now, it's also a Mobius coaster. So it's just one track, and here you can actually see the blue track change into the red, and the other way around. But yeah, I think it's a great track layout. You can still see a semblance of the original layout in here as well. These vehicles stay pretty close together, and they duel with each other really nicely throughout the track. It's really wonderful to see. And this is probably my favorite moment here, where these tracks both wrap around the path here, and I believe they also go in opposite directions. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth checking out this entry for yourself. Alright, the next contest was the Mini Octopus contest, and this contest all players had to use this seafood stall and place it somewhere in the park and theme the park around it on a small plot, of course. Now, we saw many different creative things that people did with this seafood stall, but Sorted won the round, and he actually used it for this ride which he created, which he called, what did he call it? Stop Squid. It has these 8 arms, and these vehicles are traveling around it. It all looks like this whole attraction is suspended from this arm here, and I think you'll have to just imagine that it would, this arm would move around and put these vehicles in different orientations. Also a really nice fence around it with a beautiful queue. The guests do clip through the fence a little bit, but it's really tough to do nice circular fences like this. But yeah, this building cutout here also looks great. And I think it's just wonderful how Sorted did this little ride. Alright, the next contest was the April Fool's contest. It was the Mr. Bones contest, so all the players had to place down a Mr. Bones in the park. But they also had to build a go-kart track, so that's what Levels did in this entry, and he created a version of Rainbow Road from Mario Kart. You'll find a Rainbow Road in almost every Mario Kart game, or maybe you find one in every Mario Kart game. Yeah, they're always elaborate tracks with a rainbow pattern on the track, and yeah, often you're punished heavily. There's often no barriers on a lot of the track, so it's easy to fall off. And yeah, Levels added a lot of decoration along the track. Well, already the way he did this track design is really nice, with these multi-dimension coaster cars representing the rainbow colors of the track. But you can also see lots of decoration around the track, like this Ferris wheel in the shape of a mushroom. And there's even this pixel art in the background, which is actually all these pieces of litter that he arranged in these patterns. And that's most likely done with the litter editor plugin. Even Vomit was used here to create this little Mario pixel art. Very creative entry. Alright, next up was the Mini 3x3 contest. This one was once again won by Max Arceus. Players had to create something on a 3x3 plot. Now it says here we have to follow this ride around, and as we do, it should take us on a tour through the galaxy or the solar system. No, does it actually seem to... Oh, I have to follow around the cannon. There we go. So yeah, there's lots of these messages swirling around, so it teaches us something about the solar system as it travels through it. But yeah, it's only 3x3, so Max once again used all the vertical space that he had in this contest. And now it takes us past all these different planets of the solar system. So yeah, once again, very educational entry. And here it tells us to switch to the backside, and then it takes us past all kinds of different moons of planets, and it also takes us past the inner planets over here. So yeah, very cool entry once again from Max Arceus. I love how he drew this little Earth here. Alright, next up was the Virginia Reel contest. This was a ride creation contest where everybody had to create a Virginia Reel, and here we see the entrance of the park. It's a big dwarven statue. And when guests pass through that, they end up over here in what looks like a giant cave. And then in here we see several buildings. We see what looks like a big market over here. And fountains in the middle. And then over here there's this big Virginia Reel coaster. And Natty Dreamland made the Virginia Reel a little bit more special. They're also adding a bicycle in the center of these two vehicles to make it look like there's a brakeman or brake dwarf operating the ride. So you'll see these sometimes on really old coasters where there was actually an employee of the park who actually had a big lever to actually brake the vehicles down so they wouldn't fly off the track. So yeah, I think that's a nice addition here. But yeah, the aesthetic of the cave also just looks wonderful, and I think it definitely looks like it's inside a big cave here. So a really nice job on that from Natty's Dreamland. Alright, next up is another multiplayer round, and this round was themed after Marshmallow Mountain area of Imagination Mega Park, and this round was won by Max Arceus. So I'm just going to try and use the cutaway view on his plot. There we go. So we have this island in the middle of the Fanta Sea. It's all orange because it's Fanta. Now we have this volcano here, which is squirting some chocolate. You can also see lots of smoke here in the form of all these marshmallows on sticks. That's really creative. Also lots of other sweet goodness here in the sky. Yeah, that's just wonderful decoration. So I like how Max Arceus put his name here in the sky. Now also lots of stuff happening on ground level. You can see this little castle, the sweet synagogue, all made of candy. We can see a big cake here called Sugar Rush. Oh, it's the station for this coaster. And yeah, this coaster also really nicely wraps around the plot here. Yeah, just a wonderful, sweet little plot from Max Arceus. Alright, we also did a title sequence contest this year. And if you played OpenRC2 this year, you've probably seen this park in the background. This park was made by a huge team. It was made by 94 Supreme Posse, Beautiful Monday, Low Poly, Sorted, Swag Titties, The Blue, and they got a pretty high score for this entry. Now, here's the entrance area of the park. It's huge. It does look a tiny bit empty. Hey, you can see some guests walking around. Also, a fun little scene over here where pictures are being taken. Then guests pass over this bridge here. You can already see the first coaster here. It's a big launched inverted coaster. They did some nice trickery to make it look like this track is a box track with 4 rails. It's pretty nicely done. I love all the buildings which it travels through. And there's several other huge coasters in the park. There's this big wooden coaster, which kind of looks like it has this Titan track, which is made of metal. Here's a big river rapids ride. And here in the mountains we also have this other ride, which I believe is a nod to Dragonfire. This one's called Alpendrachen. Yeah, but yeah, also a really nice imposing layout. Yeah, this park is huge. The team did kind of run out of time for building it, but yeah, I think it looks very impressive. Alright, next up was the Mini Family Boomerang Contest. And this contest was once again won by Beautiful Monday. Beautiful Monday created this wonderful looking family boomerang, also with a diagonal station. They're pretty tough to, yeah, it's pretty tough to make them look nice. But I think Beautiful Monday definitely succeeded here. I also love the way he did the roof, using these unconventional objects. And finally, the spike here also looks really nice. I love how Beautiful Monday did the supports for this coaster. Nothing too crazy. I especially love how he did the footers for these supports. These blue supports actually look really nice. Yeah, also lots of shops and stalls here in the background. All these buildings here. Looks like a really nice boardwalk for the guests to enjoy. And I love the way Beautiful Monday did all these balconies and these awnings for these windows. Really nice job. Okay, next up was the Heartline Twister Coaster Contest. This one was made by SolX. And he created this pair of dueling Heartline Twisters. Actually, one vehicle traveling backwards and one traveling forwards. Now, I think they duel really nicely. Now, SolX used some elements which you normally cannot build on Heartline Twister coasters, but in OpenRC2 we can do anything we want. So, yeah, they can actually go to the side a bit. And I think SolX created a wonderful layout for this pair of dueling coasters. Yeah, they duel really nicely. They're synced in a really nice way. And yeah, I love the way that SolX also made stuff like curves on this coaster. I think it looks pretty believable. Now, it's also some beautiful ruins throughout this area. Also some other rides which pass through it. I think it's also beautiful how these splash boats travel down here. Yeah, this entry is just really a great entry. SolX did a wonderful job here. Alright, next up is our second mini staff scene contest. And something that was new in this edition of the staff scene contest was that the Peep Editor plugin can now freeze guests in an animation. So yeah, Madazalk used that here to recreate the concert of Baby Metal at the, what was it, New Year Fox Festival. And yeah, I actually watched some scenes of that concert, and I think Madazalk did a great job at recreating it. Here you can see the stage with the Baby Metal artists, and here you can see all these guests walking and jumping around. One of them is actually barfing here. Yeah, this looks so energetic, but also the stage of that specific concert is recreated really nicely here, I think. So yeah, just a wonderful job from Madazalk. Alright, the next contest was the Mine Train Coaster Contest. And Manticore and the Brew teamed up and they created this beautiful pair of Mine Train coasters. I can see one of the pair is traveling forwards and the other one is traveling backwards. And they just interact with each other in such a nice way, passing over and under each other many times throughout the track. Also lots of nice interaction with all these elements and paths right next to the ride. Track also has a really nice drop track here. You can see the blue train parked here inside this building. And then here you can see these elevators. They will fall down and they will take these vehicles with them. Now, of course, it does look a little bit wonky, but that's just because OpenRC2 doesn't really have actual drop tracks without using special plugins for that. And here they both travel up the lift hill again. But yeah, this was a wonderful entry. These coasters did some amazing things. Also love this industrial area over here. And here in the back, we can also look inside this big rock, and we can see this big space dock here, where spaceships are being made. Yeah, this was just a wonderful entry. Alright, the next contest was multiplayer round 69. Nice. And I actually also won a contest this year. I was the winner of multiplayer round 69. And in round 69... Oops. I need to try and select the cutaway view correctly. And there we go. In multiplayer round 69, all players had to create something, but they could only use objects from the expansions of Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. And I also allowed recolorable versions of those objects. Now I decided to use that to create a futuristic cityscape. So I dug out the land here, so I was able to build a little bit, well, to make it look like the building was much taller than it actually is. You can see all these hover bikes flying around the entry. Also flying into the building where there's parking. And I put several futuristic rides on top. Here you can see this blob from outer space, which is actually a drop tower. Now I saw someone create one of these drop towers before, where the vehicle was actually on the inside of the track. I really like that, so I create my own version with this blob here. I think it really paid off. I think it looks beautiful. So a futuristic merry-go-round here, also with hover bikes. And there's also this Ferris wheel going around. And another little ride where a vehicle drops down the building and then rises up again. So yeah, I was really happy with how this entry came together, and I'm really glad that it won the round. Alright, there was a second park creation contest this year, and for this contest all players had to recreate an existing park or a park that had existed in the past. And this entry was made by a big team. It was made by Hex, Mamarias, Swagtitties and 30. I believe it was Swagtitties who did most of the work, and the others in the team later joining in to help out. But yeah, this is the park Silverwood. I love this big sign that Swagtitties made. You can see lots of different rides from the actual park. Swagtitties did take some liberty with some of the rides. This ride, for example, has been turned into a hybrid coaster. While in reality, I believe it's just a wooden coaster. It does still have several tunnels, like the original does. I love this giant inverted boomerang. That also looks really nice. Yeah, also several other rides from the park. I believe, not really sure if this ride is actually there. Maybe it is, but it's called Stunt Pilot. Yeah, I believe it's actually there. But yeah, it's just wonderful seeing all these rides being recreated. Swagtitties and the rest, they also recreated several other key features of the park. There's this big railway that travels all around the area. Also this highway junction or this road junction right next to it. One thing that is missing, however, is the airstrip. But yeah, they did run out of time, so that's probably why it isn't there. But yeah, just a beautiful recreation of the original park. Alright, next up is the Dark Ride Section Coaster Contest. Now that's a whole lot of words. Basically what it means is that players had to create a coaster which had at least one part where it slowly travels in between several passes by several scenes. It's quite a few real coasters which do that, and I think Timmy Tuner's version of that is amazing. So yeah, here's the coaster station, and it travels along this conveyor belt here. And what I like most about this entry is this set of doors that you can see here. So yeah, coaster car travels by here. This conveyor belt is amazing, by the way. As it passes by the door, you can see these doors open. Yeah, I love how Timmy Tuner did that. He used these monorail trains for it, and it just looks amazing. Yeah, it's just really fun to watch. Now, this whole entry is fun to watch. You can see all these different scenes here inside this building. Coaster travels by some more scenes here. I believe there's a scene here where some stuff is falling down. Yeah, Timmy Tuner really went all out with all the special effects in this park, and it's just such a fun park to go through. You can see the coaster again. There's some stuff falling down. Yeah, it's just such a wonderful entry. And then here the coaster travels through some area where it goes a little bit faster. But here's also some other scenes where it goes forwards and backwards. Yeah, it's really an amazing entry. I really recommend you to download this entry for yourself and go check it out. Okay, next up was the mini swinging ship contest. This entry was won by 30, and he created this pair of dueling swinging ships, and they take turns swinging to the middle here. That's really nicely done. Now these swinging ships are also both situated on these boats. I think these boats look great, especially this one over here. The one over here looks a little bit on the bulky side on the back. But yeah, there's also some nice other buildings around it. I love the pier that 30 created here, but also the surrounding boats here. There's just lovely little scenes all throughout the entry. He also did this great little trick here where the water is floating, and he just put the glass here at the edge, which you can see through. Yeah, that's also just a wonderful trick. There's actually a tutorial for that now on my website, that you may want to check it out if you also want an effect like this. But yeah, wonderful little entry from 30. Alright, next up was the Rocking Horse Ride Contest. Now, players had to create something which looks like a pony track ride. You can see these horses which rock back and forth as they travel along the track. Now, these rides are usually geared towards children, but I don't think this particular version is doing that exactly. It looks like a scene from The Walking Dead. I believe it's from that. You can see all these buildings which are in ruins, lots of them in flames. Now, yeah, we can also see this subway here, or these elevated rails which are actually hanging off here, and this train which has fallen down, which these vehicles also pass by. Lots of smoke here as well. Yeah, I just love the way In-Air Predicting a Fault has done that. Now, lots of beautiful scenes here. We can see this canal or river here in the center. Also an area with these fences around it, which has a coaster in the center where all the guests are walking. I also love how the station for this ride is done in the form of this gas station. Yeah, just a wonderful ride from In-Air Predicting a Fault. Alright, multiplayer round 70. I wanted to do something big for that, so I decided it would be a team round with teams of 4 players, and each team would be assigned a random ride and 2 random themes to build in. So this plot was the winner of the round. Let me try and select it in cutaway view. There we go. And this plot was made by Monster Bugs, Immortal Cactus, Scoop and Supra Normal. Now, and the coaster type they were assigned was the B&M Twister coaster, and they had to build it, I believe, in an Asian theme, and the second theme was any movie of their choice. Now, the movie that they chose was Big Hero 6. I haven't seen the movie, but I do recognize this character. And yeah, we see all these beautiful buildings over here. They look great. Now, the city, or they decide to theme the entry after San Francisco. So it's kind of a mix between Tokyo and San Francisco. Here you can see this beautiful bridge, kind of like the Golden Gate Bridge, but they made it look a little bit more Asian. I also love this street here with this big hill, these big hillside buildings that reminds really of San Francisco. But then there's this Asian look to the buildings. So yeah, I think they did that in a really nice way. Yeah, there's this beautiful cityscape, but also next here on the sides of this plot, there's also these little indents, so kind of like an underground section, and there's all these shops and other stuff happening here. Yeah, it was just a beautiful multiplayer entry. Okay, next up was a really quick contest. It was the mini 2-hour contest. All players only had 2 hours to create an entry for this contest, and this is the entry that was made by Madeshawk. Madeshawk made this hot spring where monkeys live, and it's surrounded by all these buildings. There's a little market area, and there's also a tiny coaster on this plot. The coaster isn't much special, but of course players only had 2 hours, so for that little time that was available, I think it does look really nice. Yeah, I love all the decorations on this plot that Madeshawk put together. This building here looks great. I believe it's a bathhouse, maybe. Also some other nice buildings, and here's a little market as well. Now, you cannot, of course, expect too much from an entry that was put together in 2 hours, but I think Madashawk did an amazing job. Alright, the next contest was the Triple Launch Coaster Contest. This contest was once again won by Timmy Tuner. He created this wonderful landscape, very vertical, lots of waterfalls, and it's just really nice seeing all the water trickle down here. Now, this coaster also travels all throughout the entry. It's this triple launch coaster. I believe it actually has 4 launches. And here on the backward section of the launch, it actually has a holding brake. Now, it's actually done with a shoestring, so it's actually an underground part of the track with an underground part of the train. And actually has a holding brake somewhere, which activates right at this point. Really really nice trickery. But yeah, it's just lovely to watch this coaster travel all throughout this plot. Yeah, there's some really nice interaction moments. I just love how it wraps around this queue here. That's just so nice. And you can see all these steampunky elements all throughout the entry. There's lots of movement, lots of gears, lots of smoke, and lots of buildings everywhere, lots of machinery. Yeah, it's just wonderful to explore this entry. Alright, next up was the Mini Microcoaster Contest, our 2nd edition of this contest. And this round was won by Skifa. He created this beautiful building here, this seaside building. Skifa didn't join many contests this year, but it's always nice when he joins one. And he just casually won it. Yeah, this is just a wonderful structure here. Lots of different materials used in this building, but it all looks pretty cohesive. And yeah, it just looks great. Also, it's really fun watching this single rail coaster travel through the building. You can actually watch it at several spots, even inside the building. That's really nicely done. And yeah, it's just a really well constructed building from Skifa. Also love this little dock here at the front. Just wonderfully done. Alright, and here's the final contest that we did this year. This was for the Hyper Twister Coaster Contest, and this round was won by Madashawk. Madashawk created this Hyper Twister coaster with this beautiful color scheme. The color scheme in this entire map looks great. Now, Madashawk is Madashawk, so there's of course a pop concert with lots of guests on this plot. Once again, an amazing looking stage. That's just so great. Now, Madashawk also had lots of lighting effects. So, for example, here on the stage, you can see all these lights in these different colors. And Madashawk also made these little stripes here to make it look like these lights are reflecting off the ground here. But yeah, you can see it all throughout this entry. There's this beautiful plaza here with these different rides. And there's also all these buildings here in the street, all these shops. And all the lights that are on the sides of these buildings, they're also reflected on the street, even these light posts here. Yeah, that's just such a cool trick. And I wonder if we'll see more of that in the coming year. Yeah, this just looks wonderful, and it's just such a great effect. But yeah, I love all the buildings here on the side. They just look so nice. And Madashawk put a wonderful entry together here. Alright, those were all the contest winners of this year, the year 2024. Yeah, I hope to see many more people join our contest in the coming year. I will try to host as many contests as I can. And I just loved watching all the entries that were made for the last year. Yeah, such beautiful work. And especially these winners, they were all great. But yeah, these contests are for everyone. Also for players of lower skill levels. And I also always enjoy when new players send in their entries. Alright, all that's left for me to do is to wish you all a happy year 2025. And I hope to see many of you join in some of my contests next year. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video. It would really help out my channel. I would love to hear in the comments which one of these entries was your favorite. And if you want to see more of these videos, you can always subscribe. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.